Chapter 3. Shri Sadguru said, the mind should be drawn away from sensory experiences like hearing and the resultant pleasures. It should be drawn within, purified, and focused firmly on Lord Madhava, the ultimate being. By years of continued practice of detachment, a yogi achieves a withdrawn attitude and succeeds in subduing the mind. If a yogi who has totally subdued the mind comes into contact even momentarily with mundane materialism, if a if a yogi who has totally subdued the mind comes into contact even momentarily with mundane materialists, he gets drowned in the ocean of samsara, the endless cycle of births and deaths, like the seer Saubhari. Only a rare man among many millions succeeds in transcending Maya, illusion, totally neglecting worldly objects, controlling the sensory organs, and deeply meditating on Lord Vishnu, the Absolute Being. Devotion to Lord Hari is the only method in helping to transcend Maya. Hence, one should surrender heart and soul to Lord Krishna, who activates Maya. He who brushes aside everything else and concentrates fully on the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna gets filled with spiritual ecstasy to his heart's brim. That man alone experiences bliss and tranquility. Those noble men who are fully absorbed in meditation of Sri Bhagavan become involuntarily oblivious to the actions of Maya. An exalted personality named Shatakopa Nammalvar lived on the bank of river Tamraparni. He was innately pious and was free from all actions induced by Maya. Even as a child, he drew away from his parents. That great yogi dwelt in the big hole in a tamarind tree and spent his whole life meditating on Lord Sri Krishna. The child grew up steadily even without the mother's milk. He was seated in the posture of Padmasana and had a charmingly blossomed countenance. Looking at this child, the parents were carried away by Vatsalya Rasa, overflowing parental love. They stood before him all the time, not knowing what to do. The renowned Brahmanottama Madhura Kavi Alvar realized the true worth of the child yogi Nammalvar, and hence he became the latest disciple. The very sight of Madhura Kavi stirred the most compassionate Shatakopa to converse with him with all affection, and he started singing in praise of Lord Govinda. All the hymns, divine Prabandha verses that flowed out of the lotus mouth of Nammalvar were written down and thus recorded by Madhura Kavi Alvar. The great poet Shatakopa reveled in the untold simplicity and unassuming nature of Lord Krishna and sang very melodiously. Sri Satakopa, Sri Shatakopa sang, Sri Bhagavan, who is not obtainable even to the Devas like Brahma, the Siddhas, the Yogis, and the sages engrossed in penance, gave away himself to Yashoda as a reward of her affection and let himself be tied to the wooden mortar. Lord Krishna is easily obtained by true affection, though he is not obtainable by various other means. How could that cowheadess tie Lord Krishna, the overlord, the entire overlord of the entire universe, the head of all the devas, and the one who blesses the surrendered souls with moksha, salvation, to a mortar? Oh, what unimaginable simplicity is exhibited by the Lord who has given himself to loving devotion. Oh, how can I praise this simplicity and humility of the Lord? Sri Sadguru continued, pondering on this again and again and repeating these praises. Nammalvar was maddened with elegant beauty of this humility and simplicity of Lord Krishna and fell on the ground unconscious. With eyes filled with tears of discipline, with eyes filled with tears, the disciple Madhurakavi was struck with wonder at Prema Bhakti, loving devotion of the Guru. With unshaken faith and all earnestness, he was standing there with a palm leaf writing pad and a reed pen, waiting to record the remaining Divya Prabandha hymns to be sung by his preceptor at any moment. The saint Shatakopa regained consciousness after a span of 6 months. Again, he started singing the glories of the humble and the simple demeanor of Sri Krishna in very melodious verses. Thus, endowed with ardent devotion to Lord Krishna, which is unobtainable even by the devas like Brahma, Shatakopa was forgetful of the entire world. The Brahmanottama, Madhurakavi, who had taken refuge in the shade of the lotus feet of Shatakopa, too, was ever devoid of any attraction towards sensory pleasures. Maya, which is the root cause of all weal and woe, remains invincible in the absence of Hari Bhakti and loyalty to Guru. Thus ends chapter 3 entitled Shatakopa Charitam of Book 2 of Shri Vaishnava Samhita, composed by Shri Krishna Premi Swamigal.